Stop with the questions. Celebrate.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. Yosemite's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
Well, you haven't. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
Amazing.
He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Big, massive dumps.
Oh, I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Somebody sent me a thing this morning where they're talking about putting the vaccine into salad dressing.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
Putting us on our knees to China.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Sexual anarchy.
Oh no!
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Around the nation, Waldorf Nation. It's Monday. We get a show. Okay, well, there you go. That's the news. We have a show. Today's gonna be fun. We have a pillow talk. Yes, we're gonna talk about that. Marjorie Taylor Greene and her war on porn. Hilarious. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy that. Including my thoughts on her doing research, because obviously she had to do some research. But we'll get to that. Yes, today's show will be filled with lots of
Sexual anarchy.
It's true. It's true.
This election is about the people.
You know it. You know it. It's about the people. All right. We have that. We also are going to talk about how disgusting Greg Abbott is. So, in his response to a deadly mass shooting, this is absolutely horrifying. We have Supreme Court Justice whining and crying about people, aren't so happy with the court. Yeah, not so happy. And we also have good news. We have anti-abortion bills failing in 2 Republican-controlled states. Great. And we are also going to talk about how normal Christians, normies, are fed up with the Republican Party and their attacks against transgender people. Specifically when it comes to Zoe Zephyr being silenced in Montana. So, excellent story. People are standing up in favor of trans rights, saving trans kids, and I love it. So let's do it. Okay. And by the way, hopefully you all had a fantastic weekend. I forgot you said there was no stream on Friday. It took me about 10 minutes to realize there was no stream. Sorry about that. I know I still got people on Twitter that were like, hey, yo, where's the stream? And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. It's cool. We're here today. We got a stream. We're going to have some fun. Okay. With that, please like and share the stream. Let's do it. You know what's coming next. Okay. Mike Pillow is taking his war against Fox News to a sad new level, which means it's time for another episode of Pillow Talk.
God gave me this platform. I already know I'm going to win. China did our vote. Biden and Harris would say, hey, we're here to protect the country, and resign. Mike Lindell's a conspiracy. But you haven't. Just forget about the evidence. This was attacked.
My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell is very mad at Fox News. Very, very mad. He's mad at them for, of course, settling with Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million to avoid going to trial over their constant stream of election lies. Now, despite the fact, of course, they did air those lies, which hosts did not even personally buy, according to their own text messages, nonetheless, Lindell is going to go in to claim that Fox News was part of the effort, part of the steal. And he's going to tell it to Chris Cuomo. Take a look.
I believe Fox played a big part in this election crime because back then they called Arizona early. They made it. Smartmatic sued Fox News on February 4th of 2021. That started lawfare in this whole country. Since that time, people like me have not been able to go on any conservative media and talk about our election. So Fox has been suppressing for some reason, and they make this deal with Dominion, this backdoor deal.
Yeah, they made the deal with Dominion. They made the deal with Dominion because they were caught, and they knew it was going to get only worse.
I have subpoenaed Fox for they've never asked me for the evidence. We posted on Frank's speech. Anybody can go look at it. Fox News has never subpoenaed me for the evidence. We have subpoenaed Fox for their evidence, and they won't give us anything. They won't give us anything.
They're not going to give you. They're not going to give. But Mike, they're not going to produce evidence of the non-existence of the election being rigged. And they did more than anybody else did to fuel the speculation, which is how they got jammed up with Dominion.
I love all of that. It's so good. Wait, hold on. So he asked to see Fox News' evidence. But wait, I thought...
Just forget about the evidence.
What's going on? What's happening here? I don't quite understand. Weird. Look, obviously Chris Cuomo is correct in this. Fox News isn't going to pull evidence out of their you-know-where, okay? If they had it, by the way, if they had evidence, real evidence, that the election was, rigged in this case against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden, they wouldn't shut up about it. I mean, all of their hosts would be 100% all in. But again, we saw that Fox hosts and executives, they're like, yeah, this is nonsense. This is nuts. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. But hey, you know what we got to do? Obviously, we have to lie to our audience. And that's what they did because they wanted to make sure to keep their stock. They wanted to make sure to keep their viewership from fleeing to Newsmax, which is, by the way, it's exactly what's happening. Now, of course, in order to do that, they ended up, of course, getting themselves into legal trouble. And, well, they ended up having to pay a massive amount of money. They ended up firing Tucker Carlson, which created, by the way, a huge vacuum in their programming. Now, it turns out nearly half of the 3 million viewers who would tune in to Tucker Carlson each night, well, they left. They went to Newsmax. They're saying, no, you understand. We want to be lied to. We want you to tell me sweet little lies about the election because our egos are so incredibly fragile. We are such fragile people that we cannot handle the truth. We cannot handle the fact that our candidate lost a legitimate election. Hey, it happens. Hillary Clinton lost a legitimate election in 2016. Sometimes your candidate loses. It happens. Sad day. You don't sit there and scream and cry like little children, like little babies about fraud. That didn't actually happen. You can't prove a goddamn thing. But no, they keep on doing this. And they keep on turning to people who are willing to lie to them. Look, Mike Pillow, I do think he's a true believer. Either that or he's just too tied into this, like his ego or something, for him to, get off this thing. I mean, look, a data analyst looked at Mike's evidence, his data. It proved that it's just all nonsense. It was junk data. Didn't prove that it was from the election at all. Now, Mikey has to pay $5 million to this data analyst, which will probably never happen because he ain't got $5 million laying around. And getting back to the reason that, where Mike was complaining about, Fox News, they wouldn't bring me on to talk about our own election. That's because what you were saying is absolute nonsense. They wouldn't platform you, Mike, because you're more trouble than you were worth. Sorry, but he was getting him into further trouble with his nonsense, and just like Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell, what, you think she was worth the headache?
In Venezuela?
No. So, look, Fox wasn't in on election crime. There's a lot of things that Fox News did wrong. I'm not a defender of Fox News here. But they were part of the heist of the 2020 election? No, that's ridiculous. If anything, they encouraged people to believe in that nonsense. But anyway, the only crime here actually might have been perpetrated by, ironically, Donald Trump himself. I mean, look, in Georgia, Fani Willis is looking into Donald Trump's call with Brad Raffensperger, where he had pressured officials to find him votes. Just find me some votes. No, you don't find people votes, you earn them. And he didn't earn enough to win. Of course, he also had the fake electors, battleground states. Then he also had the Capitol riots. I don't know, man. It looks like Trump might be the one doing election crimes. And all of this is this massive projection because they didn't like the fact that they lost. And that's it. Now, at the end of the day, of course, it looks like Mikey is going to drive this car till the wheels fall off. And, I guess if that's the way you're going to go, good luck with that. Because eventually, at some point, Dominion and Smartmatic coming for you. And it's not going to go well. Oh. So, let's move on. Let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, boy.
There is a website, you may or may not have heard about it, called Pornhub. It is a disgusting porn website. As a matter of fact, it should be illegal. I don't even know why it exists.
You may not know, although I'm pretty sure you do, why it exists. But I'm thinking maybe your ex-husband might have known. Just saying. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, claiming to be a champion of freedom of speech and an opponent of censorship, was calling for censorship. Because of course. Of course. These people, I mean, they don't surprise me, but at the same time, it's just amazing the things that you hear coming out of their mouths.
And why their due process rights are being so flagrantly and horrifically violated.
This is a flagrant violation of free speech. Okay. There's a lot of hilarious details in this story, so let's get to it. Now, first of all, really? You're actually claiming that this is the first time you've ever heard of an adult website? But what's even better is actually how she claims she found out about this adult website. Here's her explaining.
But Hunter Biden used to have multiple accounts on this Pornhub pornography sex website. And these aren't accounts where he could go watch pornography. These are accounts where he posted his sex videos. Oh. Like the ones that are on the Hunter Biden laptop. This week, I found out, you want to know what? He still has an account on Pornhub where his videos are posted. It is still live and active.
Still live and active. You don't say. Did you do a lot of research for this, Marge? You know, I mean, obviously, did you know there were videos of Hunter Biden? Again, did you have to watch them for research? Did you do lots and lots of research repeatedly, one video after another? And therefore, that's why we have to ban the website, because I was doing too much research and I was losing so much time to all the research. Research.
Sexual anarchy.
Look, not to get into gross detail, but it sounds like somebody was having a bit of, I don't know, female equivalent here, but let's call it post-nut clarity. A little bit of a refractory period here. After doing something and then feeling a bit guilty afterwards. I don't know if that's the case, but that could be the case. Little clarity, except for instead of being clear, having clarity, it's more like shame. And you see this a lot, by the way, in religious communities. People who are, like to shame other people for having those feelings and acting on them. Well, they themselves internalize that shame. So here's the thing. I don't care what kind of videos Marjorie Taylor Greene watches in her own time. I don't care. I don't care what Hunter Biden posts. Don't care. Hunter Biden doesn't work in politics. He doesn't work in the White House. He's a private citizen. He can post whatever he wants on Pornhub. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Is that going to be a headache for his dad in politics? Well, yeah, of course. I don't know. I mean, does Joe Biden wish that Hunter Biden wouldn't do stuff like that? Yeah, probably. I mean, does that have anything to do with Joe Biden's presidency? No. No, it really doesn't. None of it does. Now, that said, if you want to make a comparison to Trump, which she, of course, does, well, for Trump, you do have the numerous rape allegations. That's a thing, including the civil trial that's currently ongoing by E. Jean Carroll, who, claims that Trump had raped her inside of a store. You also had the Stormy Daniels stuff, which is relevant mainly because he is alleged to have buried the story in order to help his political campaign. It doesn't have anything to do with the, I guess, more salacious elements to it. But, that could be considered an illegal campaign contribution. But, okay, let's get to the hypocrisy, though. Marjorie Greene, so-called warrior for free speech. I hate censorship. I hate cancel culture. Yeah, I'm for free speech. But wait, why are you trying to censor a company that is Canadian? I mean, but it's because you don't like it? I mean, sad day for you. You don't like it? Don't watch it. Wow, that was difficult. It's so easy. Just don't do it. Just don't tune in. You're not forced to watch Sexual Anarchy, okay?
Sexual Anarchy?
No. In this case,
this election is about the people.
But it's not. It's not. You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to watch it. It shouldn't matter to you. Oh, but it does. See, here's the thing. People like her don't like something. They can't let it go. Because they have to ban it. And I think it's because they can't handle the temptation, you see. I think they want to ban adult films because they actually do want to look at it. And it's not like there isn't studies out there that show that, repressed people tend to look at a lot of this material. And funny enough, a lot of red states in some of the more racist areas, the type of stuff that they're looking at comes up as like Ebony, for example. The more virulently anti-trans you are, just happens that a lot of these people tend to look at a lot of trans porn. It's weird, what they're doing, because they'll go and look at this stuff and then try to pass laws against them. It's insanity. But see, they can't help themselves. And look, conservatives have wanted to ban sodomy plenty of times. And you know why? It's because they're interested in trying it or doing it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. They ban the things that they want to do. So to help them not do it. If I can't do it, you can't do it. You're not allowed. How dare you have fun over there? How dare you do
sexual anarchy?
But I want to do it. I want to do it. Well, if I can't do it, you can't do it. Nobody can do it. Well, that's how they think. They're obsessed. And look, by the way, it's not as if the adult film industry is great. No. There's a lot of exploitation going on in that industry. There's a lot of sex workers who face a lot of issues with unfair labor practices and in some cases, or a lot of cases, don't have safe employment. So, that's definitely a thing. There's a lot of credit card processors and banks that will not do business with people that even decide to forego that industry and set up maybe their own profiles on these many different sites, like the OnlyFans or whatever, when they do adult content. There's places that don't want to allow people to do this stuff. And obviously, all of this is in demand. I mean, there wouldn't be, so much of it around if there wasn't a demand for it. So it's all weirdo, Puritan culture to try to ban all this stuff, which is, again, perfectly fine and perfectly healthy for people to watch and consume. But now to ban it, of course, as like Marjorie Greene comes out and says, I want to make it all illegal so adults can't access it. Again, we're not talking about children. Of course, we as adults want to keep children from being able to access any of this stuff. That's not part of the conversation here. She's saying it should be illegal for everyone. Everyone. That goes against freedom of speech. It is cancel culture. It is censorship. And so Marjorie Greene, complete and utter hypocrite. How about, people on the far right just leave everybody alone and stop trying to be big daddy government. But of course they can't do that because at the end of the day, they are the ones who want to run your life. Ban porn, but not assault rifles. Ah, yes. True. Ban adult films, but not an AR-15. Oh, let's not even get to the fact that there was in Texas a ban on having more than 6 sex toys at once. Not use them all at once, but just possessing them. But you can get as many guns as you want in Texas. Have a whole wall full of guns. No problem. But if you have more than 6 sex toys, that's the problem. Texas. It's amazing. Oh, speaking of Texas, let's move on to guns and Texas. Because, of course, right? Someone had to do the hard work. Jeez. Okay, hold on.
Sexual anarchy.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Also,
Tighten up my meat. I like my meat tight.
there you go. Had to. Okay. Texas's governor, Republican Greg Abbott, is being criticized, rightly so, after falsely claiming that the victims of a mass shooting on Friday were illegal immigrants. So this is a horrible story where there was a mass shooting. 5 victims who legally immigrated, at least one of them had a green card from Honduras, were shot and killed by 38-year-old Francisco Oropeza after they asked him to stop shooting off his AR-15 in the front yard because it was keeping their child awake. So apparently Oropeza allegedly went to their house after that, and after saying, this is my front yard, I can do whatever the hell I want, then went to their house and started executing people at close range with his rifle. Sonia Guzman, 25, Diana Velasquez Alvarado, 21, Yulisa Molina Rivera, 31, Jose Jonathan Cazares, 18, and an 8-year-old, Daniel Enrique Lasso, were the victims. They were killed in this attack. This happened on Friday. Abbott waited until Sunday to make remarks on social media in which he falsely claimed that these victims were all illegal immigrants, while posting a $50,000 reward, by the way. So, first off, again, this is horrifying. Another gun massacre in America. Friday's massacre was the 174th mass shooting so far this year. And by the way, since then, there were 10 more. Now, Greg Abbott, what does he focus on? Not the fact that, we've got a serious issue with a lot of mass shootings. No. He focuses on the fact that, or not even the fact, he focuses on, they're illegal immigrants. Wait, what? Why? Look, their immigration status, by the way, he got it wrong, but it has nothing to do with any of this. Why bring it up? Now, let me give you the details on the immigration status. Contrary to Governor Abbott's claim, Guzman was a legal U.S. resident, according to Carlos Eduardo Espina, who posted a copy of her green card to social media. The Houston Chronicle cited the green card post in their reporting as well. In their unconfirmed reports on social media that at least some of the victims were in the U.S. seeking asylum, which would, of course, mean that they were not illegal immigrants. But again, that has nothing to do with their deaths. That has nothing to do with the tragedy. But we know why he's talking about it. We know why. It's because it gets the conversation away from guns to, you see, illegal. Yeah, illegal, you see. It's your classic squirrel, which they do this all the time. Now, I also don't think that I need to go out on a limb to mention here that if you have a certain audience, or certain kind of people, for example, that vote for people like Greg Abbott, that, when they hear, illegal immigrants, they'll say, of course. Oh, of course. Yeah. And maybe the reaction isn't so bad. They might actually think, some of them might think that it's a good thing. I wish I was kidding, but the hatred that some people have in their hearts towards undocumented immigrants, or even just documented immigrants, it's absolutely sickening. And we see this hate play out on social media and all the time, unfortunately, and in our news cycle. Why else would you intentionally try to dehumanize the victims of a mass shooting? And by the way, I'm not the one who thinks being undocumented makes you less of a human being. No. That's the right wing. Because they will look at them and say, well, obviously they had it coming. Go back to your own country. As they don't care about human beings or their lives. Now, he got a lot of pushback. Let me show you some examples of this. Mother and Jones editor-in-chief Claire Jeffrey said this, quote, nice way to try to blame 5 victims of your gun policies. Yeah, the gun policies in Texas, which are very, very loose, very lax, including an 8-year-old and 2 little kids who survived. As the problem, you utter moral stain. Damn. Democratic strategist Larry Hune says, how do you honor a family who was just tragically murdered? Praising the parents who sacrificed to offer their child a better life. By the way, one of the more heartbreaking things in that story, is that the two ladies, they were shielding the children. So they were shielding the children with their bodies. I mean, it's just absolutely horrifying what had happened. And yet, you have the people like Greg Abbott that are just, I mean, it's disgusting. I don't know how else to put it. It's disgusting. But anyway, let's continue with Hyun saying this. Praising the parents who sacrificed to offer their child a better life, offering condolences to the parents, to the family members and hundreds of community members mourning their loss. Not if you're sociopath Greg Abbott. Yeah. Former president and director counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Sherilyn Ifill says, 8 innocent people, including an 8-year-old child, murdered, but the governor remains focused on the political benefits of dehumanizing them. The moral rot that has been revealed in so many political leaders tells me that we are a short distance from having the capacity to do and allow the worst. Yeah, I mean, this didn't just end with the election of Joe Biden. Okay. No, it's gone. It never was just Donald Trump. Okay. And I know you all know this, longtime viewers. This has been a hatred on the right wing for so long towards immigrants. So-called Christians, so-called moral people. I don't see this as moral at all. I don't see those people as moral at all. Now, let me give you another comment here. This is from Oliemi. Alurin is, by the way, fantastic person. You should give her a follow on the Twitter at mslurin. Here's what she says. The dehumanization here is otherworldly. Even in their deaths, he can't see undocumented immigrants as human beings. He couldn't think of anything to call a family who've been murdered but illegal immigrants. 100%. Abbott knows what he's doing. This is, again, politicizing a tragedy, trying to get the conversation away from talking about his terrible gun policies that have led to more and more mass shootings, and just talking about, once again, the swirl of immigration. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly who his audience is. Trump was a symptom and an accelerant. 100%. 100%. Okay. Moving on. Why don't we go to a more positive story? Oh, would you look at that? Thousands of Christians have spoken up in favor of trans rights. Now, it turns out over 10,000 Christians signed a recent petition condemning the banning of Montana Representative Zoe Zephyr. She is, of course, the state's first transgender lawmaker. She has been, unfortunately, banned from the House floor after apparently breaching decorum. So that bothers me because what she was saying was absolutely true. I'll give her her quote on this, on what she said about a trans ban, essentially. Zephyr spoke out last week against Senate Bill 99 that was recently signed by Montana Governor Greg Gianforte, which banned gender-affirming care for minors. So now Gianforte has a family member, I believe it's a son, who's non-binary, who's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you signing these terrible, hateful pieces of legislation? Well, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but Greg Gianforte is a terrible, hateful human being. That's just who he is. Now, the legislation which will go into effect on October 1st, states that healthcare professionals who violate the gender-affirming ban are subject to discipline by the appropriate licensing entity or disciplinary review board. Consequences will include suspension from medical practice for at least a year. So basically, do gender-affirming care, which saves lives, saves the lives of transgender children, and you will end up getting punished by the state. Wow. On the House floor, Zephyr said that forcing a transgender child to go through puberty would be tantamount to torture, and said that the body should be ashamed. Quote, if you vote yes on this bill, I hope the next time you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands. In response to that, Republicans, led by House Speaker Matt Razier, deemed her statements a breach of decorum. And what you're doing is totally fine. But when she actually has, when she actually represents people and speaks out against this, again, ban on something that is life-saving, she's the one in breach of decorum? She's the one in breach? No. It was ridiculous. As a result, she was barred from the House floor in a 68-32 vote and will not be allowed to debate or speak on legislation for the remainder of the session. In response, Zephyr has launched a lawsuit. So now the Republican Party loves to consider themselves the true supporters of Christianity, the standard bearers, even. Well, it turns out they don't actually represent the majority of Christians. A lot of Christians don't agree with the Republicans going after trans people. A lot of Americans don't agree with the Republican assault on transgender people. And so now the group Faithful America posted a petition on Friday in an effort to gather 15,000 signatures from those who were against the consequences Zephyr faced for speaking out against this bill. Arguing that she was simply speaking truth to power about the harms done by anti-trans legislation. Here's some of that petition. What it read: across the country, Christian nationalist politicians are twisting rules to shut down debate in state capitals across the country. It's a fascist tactic that silences already marginalized communities and undermines democracy. And social justice Christians have a key role to play in pushing back, Faithful America said in a statement posted along with the petition. I'm going to have to say this. Based. Heck yeah. I didn't want to say hell yeah because we're dealing with, religion, but no, this is great. And obviously it shows you, because the thing that we notice with a lot of these stories involving hateful, bigoted statements and politicians and stuff is that they generally will claim, oh no, it's because of Christianity says this is a bad thing. My religion says this is bad. It's a sin. And we're just being more moral. Now, obviously, it's not the moral position to, allow a situation where you have children that are transgender to not be able to transition, to not be able to get the care that they need. That reduces the instances of suicidal ideation. It's just been, it's a patent fact. It's been proven that gender affirming care saves lives. And banning it, what do you think you're doing? You're putting those lives in jeopardy, in danger. That's what's going on. So it's good to see that there are Christians that are speaking out and saying, no, this doesn't represent us at all. No, we're not in favor of this. We're in favor of people living their lives. So obviously it shows you that the majority of Christians are not, hateful bigots. I never believed that in the first place, but I think for the longest time, the very small, hateful, bigoted part claims to be part of that Christian group. Well, they were very loud, and they are very loud. So look, calling people, by the way, in a religion, members of an entire religion, hateful, bigoted people would be absurd, right? And by the way, it's absurd to call members of, I should say the entirety of any religion those things. That said, the Republican Party said a lot of horrible things about Muslims. Remember during the Bush and Obama administrations, the right wing constantly fear-mongered about Muslims, calling them all terrorists, the ISIS, and so, I mean, that's how they feel about other religions. None of it was true, of course. And Christian nationalists, let's be real, they also say terrible things about the Jews. It's not like we haven't caught them talking about, saying those terrible things about other, religious groups. Those same people, by the way, claim that Christianity is under attack in this country. It's not. It's not under attack by gay people. It's not under attack by trans people. It's not under attack by Muslims or anything like that. No. Most Americans know that, by the way. Most Christians know that. And some of the most loveliest people, the most accepting people, yes, of LGBTQIA plus people, I know are Christian. Leftist Christians are amazing people. There are also normal people who are Christian that are against this. They've got their own religious beliefs, but they don't go out of their way to do harm to other people. So what you have here, though, is Republicans that represent an extreme. The fundamentalists. The people who miss out completely on the point of Jesus. Again, you had Lauren Boebert going out there saying Jesus should have had an AR-15. Kind of defeats the whole point. But then she says a lot of wacky, ridiculous things about religion and about government, and yet she is an elected official. Jesus Christ. I guess literally. So that said, this group backed Zephyr's statements about forcing trans children to go through puberty, adding that the consequences of doing so result in higher rates of depression and suicide among trans youth. They said, let's rally around Representative Zephyr and show Republicans and the religious right that Christians will stand up for our neighbors and for democracy no matter what. I love it. Faithful America also said in its petition that every Montana politician who voted in favor of this bill, SB 99, has blood on their hands, echoing Zephyr, and accused the far right of continuing to push for needless restrictions in quote-unquote Jesus' holy name. Like, how dare you take our religion, what we believe, and turn it into something hateful? As Christians, they write, we stand in solidarity with the trans community and with Representative Zoe Zephyr, who was wrongly punished for speaking the truth about the damage done by anti-trans laws. From Montana to Tennessee, we oppose any and all attempts to weaponize government and twist legislative rules to silence, punish, or expel members of marginalized communities and their allies for speaking truth to power. So, again, I love it. I'm not a religious person, but I love it when religious people actually stand up and do the parts of their religion that are the good parts. We see, again, a lot of people using the bad parts, cherry picking the bad parts, and using those to go after marginalized people. So it's refreshing to see that you have people taking the good parts of their religion. The fact that you're supposed to love each other and look out for each other, and care for, the immigrant, care for the poor, care for other people. That's good. We need to see more of that in this country. We need a lot more in this country. So I like that they're pushing back against the fundamentalists, the people that are using their claiming to use their religion in order to hate other people and marginalize other people. Because I tell you what, faith can be a very good thing. It can be a helpful thing. Again, it's not for me, but you can get a lot of good personal comfort from faith. And if you're one of those people, wonderful. And even better if you use it to help other people. Because that's ultimately what it should be for, to help others, never, ever to harm others. And I'm glad that this group is taking up that mantle and showing people how they're supposed to act, how real Christians are supposed to act. Okay. Let's see. There was that one Republican lawmaker who had a trans daughter, said she asked if she could save her daughter from being depressed and suicidal. She said no. Hunger Games 99, I don't know if she had a trans daughter. I don't know the details on that, but I did show you that video on Thursday. And that was truly monstrous. Okay. Let's see. Apparently, somebody is asking for
Jewish space lasers.
And I shall deliver. I shall deliver. Okay. Let's move on. And we've got a couple more stories here. So let's get to it. Let's make fun of Supreme Court Justice. Yay. Justice Samuel Alito is very sad that people are not happy with the ultra-conservative Supreme Court. Speaking to the Wall Street Journal, because, of course, in an interview published on Friday, Alito whines that attacks on the legitimacy of the High Court are a new thing. Never seen it before. New during my lifetime. Quote, we're being hammered daily. And I think it's quite unfairly in a lot of instances. And nobody, practically nobody, is defending us. Sad. Baby. Oh, are you upset that nobody's defending you corrupt asses? How come nobody's defending us in our cushy lifetime appointments? Shut up. Just shut up. Oh, but he's going to continue because, of course, the idea has always been that judges are not supposed to respond to criticisms, but if the courts are being unfairly attacked, the organized bar will come to their defense. But alas, if anything, they participated to some degree in these attacks. Why are people coming in to defend us? Why is the rabble allowed to criticize us like this? It's called free speech, dude. Now, look, as somebody who's been critical of the court, let me just say this in direct response to Justice Alito. Cry more. Your tears, delicious. Yummy. Seriously, though, maybe you didn't stop to think that maybe there's a reason that people are criticizing the Supreme Court. I mean, aside from some of their pretty horrible decisions, there seems to be a lot of corruption here. For one, Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, married to Jenny Thomas, and she tried to help overturn a presidential election. Thomas is also being financed by a billionaire GOP mega donor who, again, literally collects Hitler memorabilia. He has a garden full of dictators. Weird. Pretty strange. Thomas also has been caught in several different corruption scandals, all, going back to Harlan Crow. In fact, one of the newest ones comes from The Lever. Thomas had voted to end federal tenant protections that his benefactor's company says threatens its real estate profit margins. According to corporate documents reviewed by The Lever, Thomas did not disclose his relationship with billionaire Harlan Crow, nor did he recuse himself from the 2021 case, despite its potential impact on Crow's holdings. I wonder if there's corruption in this house. Gee, I don't know. But it's not just it's not just Clarence Thomas. It's also Neil Gorsuch. Neil Gorsuch did not disclose that he had sold a 40-acre Colorado property he co-owned to the CEO of a law firm that often argues cases in front of the Supreme Court. So now wait a minute here. The thing about Gorsuch, it's interesting, is he disclosed gifts as small as cowboy boots and fishing rods, but didn't disclose this 40-acre property? Weird. Very, very weird. Huh. It's almost as if he didn't want us to know. And on Friday, Insider report that Chief Justice John Roberts' wife, Jane, was paid $10.3 million in commissions from elite law firms that, of course, had business before the Supreme Court. Weird. I wonder why people might say the court is corrupted, based on the fact that they're always voting in favor of corporations. They also made decisions to further flood our political system with more and more money. You had Citizens United, which, again, it wasn't all the current members of the court, and the most recent McCutcheon first FEC, which put even more money in our political system. And then, of course, you have the unpopular stuff like Dobbs. I wonder why people have a negative opinion of the court. Weird. Oh, and by the way, on Dobbs, Alito is complaining that somebody leaked his draft opinion in that case a month early. And the fact that people rightly got upset over it. He said, those of us who were thought to be in the majority, thought to have approved my draft opinion, and they did, were really targets of assassination. It was rational for people to believe that they might be able to stop the decision in Dobbs by killing one of us. Now, I believe there was one attempt, and that's horrible. And of course, we don't condone that. We don't condone violence. But at the same time, like, to think that you're victims of, like, the left wing, they're going to come murder us all. No. And by the way, as far as leaking, bro, you are a leaker. The call's coming from inside the House. The Hobby Lobby birth control decision. Alito leaked to donors back in 2014. It's you. You're the leaker. It's inside the House. I mean, you just have to look in a mirror. You'll find the leaker. But no. Oh, it's the left-wing law clerks. Those are the people. It's the left wing somehow. Gee, I wonder why people don't trust you. And yet Republicans, they insist, oh no, it's the left. You see, the left is trying to delegitimize the Supreme Court. No. The left doesn't have anything to do with it. You seem to be doing a fine job, bang-up job, of delegitimizing yourself. Look, they're the most corrupt court that I've seen in my lifetime. And now they're crying, at least Alito is, about how everybody's being so unfair as they continue to get lavish trips on someone else's dime and a nice lifetime appointment to a very cushy job that has pretty much no ethical obligations whatsoever. No code of ethics at all. There's some guidelines. Ooh, guidelines. Ooh. No, these are a bunch of whiny people crying about people actually seeing them for who they are, which is just a bunch of corrupt political activist judges. Is what it is. All right, so let's go to a good news story. Oh, interesting. Also fun. It appears 2 more red states have rejected anti-abortion bills. Now, this time Nebraska and South Carolina, which have Republican-controlled legislatures, failed to pass a couple of very draconian anti-choice bills, mainly because of how unpopular they really are. Unpopular and extreme. So let's go to Nebraska first, which tried to pass the Heartbeat Act, which would ban most abortions after 6 weeks, except for these few cases, rape and incest, or to preserve the life of the mother. But we know that those, exemptions are just generally garbage. But anyway, The bill ended up stalling in the legislature. Oh, and by the way, heartbeat act. There's no heartbeat at 6 weeks. it's electrical sickness. Okay, that's it. There is no heart. And by the way, 6 weeks. It's before a lot of people don't know. Before they even know that they're pregnant. So it really is just, I think, an effort to control reproductive organs and the people who possess them. And that's really it. Now, the bill ended up stalling in the legislature. A vote to overcome filibuster of the bill failed by a vote of 32 to 15, with 2 senators abstaining, including Republican State Senator Merv Ripe, leaving the measure 1 vote shy of the 2/3 majority needed for full consideration. Ripe was a co-signer of the bill, but had proposed an amendment to move the ban to 12 weeks instead of 6, but his amendment did not receive a vote. Then we also have Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen, a Republican, who said he was profoundly disappointed in the vote and called for the bill to be reconsidered. We're going to bring this back. We're going to bring it back. Good luck with that. Now, on Thursday afternoon, the South Carolina State Senate had also failed to pass a bill called the Human Life Protection Act, which would have banned abortions in the state in a 22 to 21 vote, with 5 women voting against it, including 3 Republicans. So, okay. Now, the bill previously passed in the state house and included exceptions for incidents of rape or incest. One of the Republicans, State Senator Katrina Fry Shealy, has spoken out before against these bills. So here's what she said, and I think she's on the money when it comes to this. Quote, "Once a woman became pregnant for any reason, she would now become property of the state of South Carolina if the Human Life Protection Act were to come to law. She could no longer make decisions on her own or at the advice of a well-trained doctor. Every female, regardless of her age, would suddenly become subject to the power of a code book regarding her health." Look, on that, she's not wrong. Of course, unfortunately, Republicans do tend to leave out people who are non-binary, trans men, anybody with a uterus with the capacity to get pregnant. But generally, yes, they're also affected by this bill. But yeah, the majority is cisgender women who end up having their bodies be the property of the state, the property of these, Republican politicians, which again, she is a Republican politician, but she's like, hey, whoa, no, I don't want to be the property of the state. I don't want them to control my body. I don't want them to control anyone's body. Like, this is crap. And I agree. And look, there are other national Republicans, Representative Nancy Mace, also one who's speaking out against these abortion bans. And so, look, these bills, though, the whole point of putting these bills up is to control people's bodies. That's why conservative right-wing men love them. They love them. That's what they want. Now, it's not what the majority of the voters want. It turns out the majority of the public believes in freedom. I know. But freedom in America. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Pew Research Center found that, and this was, they found that 62% of adults believe that abortion should be illegal. This is a more recent poll. Gallup found that 85% of Americans think abortion should be illegal in all or most cases. Freedom. And in August, Kaiser Family Foundation poll found that only 25% of respondents wanted their state to outlaw abortions, including 32% of residents in states that have banned abortion after Roe was overturned. While a Gallup poll released in February found Americans' dissatisfaction with the country's abortion laws was at a record high of 69%. Ironic. With 46% wanting laws to be less strict, while only 15% think they should be more strict. So I think the American public is pretty clear here that they are against these laws. They're against having big state, a big nanny daddy state government coming in and regulating your body. Isn't it funny, though, the people that are like, how dare you make me wear a mask during a pandemic? How dare you advise me to get a vaccine are now the ones saying, we're going to make you carry a fetus to viability, even if it kills you in some cases. All right. If you're sure you want to go in that direction, good luck with that, because this country is pro-choice. We believe in freedom. And that's why these measures are failing all over the country. People don't want big government controlling them. And so, look, at the end of the day, I guess the only good thing that we can see here is it's costing Republicans elections. It's galvanizing people to turn out for Democrats, which at the very least are doing something. For example, in Michigan, Governor Whitmer has overturned the 1931 state abortion ban. And she's striking down other zombie laws. There's some stuff that she's doing that is fantastic on those issues. And so, good. This is what we see. But as I said, one of the worst things I think to happen to Republicans when it comes to elections is having Roe overturned. And so their big victory, there's a lot of people who are just single issue voters, pro-life, because they had been, suckered in by the propaganda, which was only there because it's a wedge issue. And it's the issue there that they want to talk about, the right wing does, because they don't want to talk about things that, for example, benefit corporations. Massive tax cuts for the rich. Not a very popular issue. And so with those people not turning out for, anti-abortion bills, they're losing. So, well, good. That's all I have to say about that. Okay. So, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you for going around the nation with me today. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Let's read some super chats before we go real quick. Emergency Remedial Truth. Thank you for the super chat. Says, hi, Jeff. Thanks for your thought out point of view. You're welcome. Gabby Mathis, very kind super chat. Happy belated birthday to Jonathan Leiter and Tyler Hackner, who is now of legal drinking age. Yes, Tyler, Jonathan, happy birthday. I think I mentioned that on Thursday, but happy birthday again. So, happy May Day, says Jonathan Leiter. Support union workers. Hell yeah. Gabby Mathis, thank you for gifting a membership. The franchise 2K, thank you for being a member, for signing up. You want to be a member, you can hit the join button below on YouTube. And Madi Darno says, got my tax refund, sharing the wealth. Thanks for the show. Appreciate the kindness of the wonderful audience, as do I. I have the best audience that I could ever ask for on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch. So thank you all. Much love. Much love. All right, everybody. Gotta go. Speaking of Twitch, sorry. Thank you to the Twitch audience. We're going to be raiding into... let's go to... watch list raid. Thank you all. Love you. Like and share the stream. And have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
There's some whores in this town. Sexual anarchy. Wet ass P-word.
Oh no!
I like my meat tight.
Oh no!
This direction is about the people.
No.
Tallywhacker.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing.